2020 has been a crazy year, and I just kind of want to do a year in review with you guys and talk about my thoughts, not only personally for 2020, but kind of like overall for 2020 and like what I think about it. So let's get started. So 2020 was the year that probably none of us expected. I know myself, when 2019 was a very tough year for me. I went through a lot of things in my personal life that I'm not really going to discuss, but it's a tough year and a lot of change, and I really look forward to 2020. And I don't think anybody expected things to be like they were. I feel like, especially in the United States, like we all live with this like little bit of a bubble of, you know, security and, you know, things that we thought were for sure. Things like people's careers, like people that my heart really goes out to is a lot of these small business owners, whether it be a small tackle shop or food business, somebody's restaurant, somebody's coffee joint, whatever that may be. Like a lot of those were things that people paid for with blood, sweat, and tears, trying to build those businesses, and a lot of those have succumbed to the pandemic. You know, for me personally, like I was really excited about some milestones with my family, like you know, my daughter started kindergarten this year. Never in the back of my head did I ever imagine that this would be done online. And not to mention, even aside from that, that everybody'd constantly be required to wear masks and do all this stuff, and it's just crazy. It's just like, this year's been wild. So the pandemic has obviously, like, it's changed the way that a lot of us look at the world. I know it's changed the way that I look at the world, and it really leads you to question what the future is going to be like. You know, are we always going to have to wear masks? Is this going to be like the new normal? You know, is this social distancing thing going to be permanent? You know, a lot of the people say that it's not, and we just have to get through this and, you know, get this whole virus under control with a vaccine and all that jazz. But I don't know. There's just a lot of, you know, insecurity with the world. You know, a lot of people have lost their way of life. A lot of people, the things that they've worked hard for are gone. You know, fortunately, like, you know, I've had the opportunity to talk with some people from different industries, and, you know, one of whom was a waitress. Like, she said that basically it's changed the whole landscape for like the service industry. Like, you know, she said that she did like bartending and did waitressing, and said that she made good money, especially doing the being a bartender and all that jazz. But she actually did a career change because she said that she knew that she couldn't count on it. And, you know, a lot of us like to look at things and we want this false sense of security. And that false sense of security is like feeling like, especially with our way of life, that this is a, you know, rock solid way to make a living. But if there's one thing that life shows you, is that that's all an illusion. And, you know, whether it's like things like, imagine coal mining. You know, 100 years ago, if you would have told somebody that coal mining would basically become a dying career, they probably would have laughed at you. And, you know, nowadays, like, it is. Look at Eastern Kentucky. So I really think that this COVID pandemic stuff is going to have lasting impacts on the world, but that doesn't mean that you have to allow it to change who you are and who I am. You know, when this year started, you know, I had a big outlook. I had a lot of goals with my channel, and one of those goals was to travel more this year. And obviously, like, that didn't happen because of the pandemic. And you know, the traveling thing has been a huge deal, but you know, outside of fishing, I think even more so is the lack of just interaction with people. I think one of the hardest parts about the whole year has just been the disconnect from people. Me personally, I am a person that loves getting outside. I don't care to be out alone. I don't care to go in the woods alone. But even for somebody like me, it's been a little bit of a struggle. You feel like you can't really travel, you can't see your family, like, you know, a lot of the things that you want to do, you can't do. Like, even if that's something as simple as going somewhere with my kids to do something on the weekends that I have my kids, like, you can't even do that. And it's just become like very stagnant. And I'll tell you, like, one of the saddest things is, you know, my daughter, she's 5 years old, and she asked me the other day, and she said, "Dad, when is the sickness going to be over so that I can see my friends again?" And as a parent, that's a hard question to answer. And you know, I try to be positive, and I try to tell her that eventually things are going to get better, and you know, the world's going to get to a better place. But it's kind of hard to say that when you're really not even sure yourself. My hope is that this year not only brings me perspective, but I hope it brings the world perspective, because as a society, we've gotten in this rat race pretty much of people living to work instead of working to live. And people work their lives away, you know, don't really think about family and lasting relationships and friendships. And the one thing that this has taught us is, I think, one of the most important parts of the human condition is that, like, we really, like, have an intrinsic desire to have meaningful interaction with each other, whether that's family or friends. You know, my ex-wife jokingly said that at one point that I could have probably been on one of those, like, Alaska shows, you know, be one of those Alaskan backwoods people. So my ex-wife would jokingly say that I was such an introvert, and I enjoyed, like, doing things on my own so much that I would have been great to be one of those backcountry Alaskan frontier people. And like I said, even for me, like, it's been a tough year. You really can't travel to see family. You're almost afraid, like, especially living in a bigger city like I do, that you don't want to be the reason that your family members get sick, whether you visit them or they visit you. So it's made it a tough situation, especially when you have young kids like I do, like, where, you know, they're growing up so fast and people want to see them. And I try to share as much as I can on my personal social media about, like, my kids that do video calls and all that stuff, but it's still not the same as being in person. So my hope is that everybody kind of slows down. This has forced us all to slow down, to really look at life, to look at your family situation, and really evaluate the things that we're blessed with almost every day we don't even think about. Things like family, friendships, having a way to provide for your family. You know, those things are things that we're blessed with that we often don't really think about until they're taken away. So as far as my goals for 2021, I'm just really focused on really valuing my time, not only working on this channel and bringing value to you guys and hopefully inspiring you guys to get outside and do something awesome, and just enjoying making these videos. Like, I absolutely love doing this. I love fishing. The videography stuff has kind of added, like, a different aspect to it, because in some ways I kind of nerd out, and I enjoy like the creative side of making these videos. My videos are not pieces of art or anything like that, but like I do enjoy making these videos, and I enjoy learning to catch fish and bringing you guys along with me and constantly learning. That's probably the biggest part of fishing that I enjoy, is just it's a constant learning process. Aside from that, like on a personal side, like just trying to make the most of every day and trying to really focus on the here and now. I find myself, it's natural for me to constantly look to the future, and I'm a big planner and like to feel sure about things. And the one thing this year's really taught me is that sometimes you just have to live in the here and now. You have to focus on enjoying this week. You have to focus on enjoying this day and not worry so much about the future. I'm not saying to be irresponsible, but sometimes you just have to focus on the blessings that you have today. And so like that's something that I hope that each and every one of you all does also, is just focus on today and what you can do today that either is a positive thing for your life or positively impacts somebody else. And let's make 2021 just a better year. I feel like 2020 has brought out the worst in a lot of people, but it has brought out a lot of good. But a lot of what you hear about is the worst in people. And let's just bag up 2020, kick it to the curb, and start 2021. I really look forward to making these videos for you guys in 2021. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to see in 2021, let me know. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. So as always guys, don't forget, get outside, do something awesome, take somebody with you if you get a chance, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Now guys, I know this is not a normal video for my channel, but I do want to capture this moment and looking back on this year. And even though it's been a crazy year, it has been a chance for me to really focus on this channel and really evaluate like what I want to do in life and with this channel. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.